Hello, Internet. I'm back. I'm Nizam, and I'm back as usual for the FM 2020 challenge. During this circuit breaker period in Singapore, in our neighboring country Malaysia, it's MCO, and in some countries it's simply called lockdown, I believe. And in this tough period, please stay safe, please stay strong, and hopefully things will be over soon for all of us. It's quite challenging. Now, in this set of video, it's been delayed due to the fact that the last video I had for match day 1 to 10 was actually last Sunday. So this is already Monday evening. It was delayed due to several reasons. Of course, I have work commitment that cannot be ignored, and another thing for sure is that I'm preparing to actually shift to a new house because if things go into plan, I'll be married by next month, and of course deliveries are being delivered to my new house for us to receive, and of course painting, I have to do a DIY because right now there's no contractor available for us to actually be helped for the painting. So it's DIY for both me and my girlfriend, but it's fun. It's really fun. Someday, if you get to paint on yourself, it's actually quality time to spend with. It's awkward, but then again, you spend time doing the things that you're building together with your loved ones. This is a great time, really. I've received feedback last week from a good friend of mine, an ex-colleague, Clive Goh. Clive, thanks a lot for the feedback. I know you want to actually mention about a special feature of the game or any useful feature of the game. I understand that you actually play FIFA, and the videos are actually made start to spark an interest of how Football Manager is going to be played with, and what's the interesting thing about Football Manager. I'm not going to say it's going to be better than what you are playing in, because everyone have their own preference in playing in which games are the best. To me, it's more of a matter rather that whether you enjoy the game, whether you felt a sense of learning. Games are actually fitted to different individuals. So, for example, I also play World of Warcraft. I took a break to prevent from fatigue and game fatigue, that we call it. And this is due to the fact it's quite repetitive when you play the same game all the time, although the dynamics will be different whenever you go to different zones, different levels, and so on and so forth. So Football Manager gave me an awesome break, and this YouTube YouTube videos actually open up my eyes to certain skill set. Of course, I'm not really that good. I wish I can do videos live and whatnot, but due to some streaming issues and all that stuff, that's not cast in stone. I'm gonna actually, once the circuit breaker is over, I'm gonna get my friend to teach me how to actually use Loom to actually showcase to you in navigating to certain pages and showing you what I'm talking about, which is might be nicer compared to the screen slides. So it is what it is. I'm actually going to showcase to you what it is, but the main special feature will be more of team dynamics, and I will tell you critically what it shows, what it does, and what does it benefit you in the long term of the game. So without further ado, let's get started. So as usual, I'm going to start with league performance of Oxford City, the second set of 10 league games. I would say, in summary, it is really a championship form. Won 7 times and drew 3 times, unbeaten, and we've scored 31 goals. We've only conceded 7. That's really a huge bonus to the goal difference, which is good. We pull 4 points clear at the top of the league table. So, assuming the fact that our nearest challenger, Weymouth, who have a game in hand, even if they win that, we are still 6 points clear. And we are ahead of Bath City, second place, by 4 points. This is good, really, after 20 league games. It gives us the foundation with that buffer to actually build an advantage over our opponents in a second set of 10 league games. Psychologically, it's good, but of course, there's a downside to it. Your team may get complacent your team will virtually may underestimate your opponents, as was the case of last season when my team failed to kill off opponents that we are supposed to win. So hopefully we have we've already had a settled formation, which is good. We have some consistency in having the same players as we can, despite the fact that I have quite a sizable squad right now to actually complement each other. So, nutshell: 7 league games won, 3 games drawn, unbeaten, awesome goal difference. So, I'm going to actually feature in the YouTube channel, in my YouTube channel, the league matches to be displayed are Dulwich and Hamlet, Havant, and Torquay United. The reasons for it being, despite the fact that I drawn games against Dulwich Hamlet and Torquay, both are really tough teams, but we showed a bit of character to actually match these teams, and we beat Havant, who were supposed to win. So it's clinical that we won. So these are the matches. Do watch the video in my YouTube channel if you wish to know about how the game works via these matches. Now, the cup competitions, disappointment. I wish I will touch on FA Cup, how I wish we would actually qualify further into the rounds because of the monetary rewards that will actually provide the team. So we qualified from the second qualifying round to the third qualifying round, but third qualifying round was a stupid moment in the 90th minute when our aggressive young left winger was actually sent off with a cynical challenge. So for the remaining 17 minutes plus extra time, we are a man handicapped against an opponent who's supposed to win. So East Thurrock are actually in the relegation zone of the same division that I'm in Vanarama South, but we lost. I wouldn't say the better team lost, the stupid team lost. So it is what it is. So hopefully, if we do get promoted this season to the Vanarama National League, hopefully we perform better in the FA Cup. So I can't wait to actually look into a new season. It's still far off. We're almost near to the middle of the season. So disappointment, but hey, everybody's learning. All right. So FA Trophy, we're still in the run. We qualified for the 4th round of the FA Trophy with a win against Vanarama North League side, Catherine Town, 3-1, and hopefully this will yield the FA Trophy will not be as disappointing as an FA Cup for us. So that's fantastic. Now, next, tactics. There's a huge difference. In the last video, our left side of the team has yet to establish partnership. This time around, our left back and our left winger has that partnership. So this is good because it will bring a lot of synergy to movements, to whether in defense or building up or in attack, and this is good for the team. Our strike force itself is quite clinical. As you can see, they have already built a strong partnership. There's a different striker, Priyan, which we signed a free transfer to actually build a good partnership with Harry Crawford. So Crawford is our established striker, pressing forward. So we have actually get the rewards of persevere with a certain set of players, which is consistent. And that translated to our current form being the league leaders in the league. Now I want to share with you in the tactic page, where on the bottom of your formation you will see the recent matches analysis. Now usually Football Manager, they will show match analysis after 5 games, and they will average it out, and they will tell you where do you actually often score a goal. So in an example of my team, we usually score within the penalty area, and of course from long range shots. So that gives us a lot of options. If assuming the team, the opposition is preventing us from having a good opportunity inside the penalty box, we can actually have players who can convert chances from long range. That is good. There are certain things that we need to improve, of course, in the positive line, such as touches in opposition penalty area, final third entries, and assist location. That will be better, I believe, as time goes by. Negatives, I would call it improvements. I wish. Touches to goal ratio, opposition final third entries, and we do lost possession. If you look at it, we have two description where we lose possession usually, which is quite surprising for me, because usually from what I see we always hold the ball possession very well. So it could be to the fact that this is our weak link, but it's not as weak as what the other teams are, or what we were last season. So it's something I look forward that we can actually improve on that. Okay, so that's over for tactics. I'm going to cover, as promised to my good friend Clive, the game feature dynamics. Now, dynamics in summary, first it shows you the cohesion that you can actually see that your team has. So cohesion is in explanation. It provides the collective mental state. So collective mental state as a team, it goes to show you how they will actually react to a certain to an incident that the team is facing. So example, from what you see in my page here, we have a significant improvement, and positioning during matches has improved considerably in the vision and reaction to events unfolding. So if we're 3 goals down, there will be a higher chance with the positive cohesion we have to respond to that. We can actually maybe fight back to become 3-all, or even snatch a win to become 4-3. So that's cohesion is something that is critical inside the game dynamics. It will tell you what is your strong points in your team dynamics. It also tells you, of course, my favorite part is the state of the dressing room atmosphere. So if you have an unhappy dressing room atmosphere, there's bound to have many unhappy players. You will have it will translate to performance, and you don't have good performance. Simple enough, you will lose games. You will draw games in which you expect to win, or even lose games you expect to win, of course. And you will find victories hard to come by. So dressing room is something that you need to manage, of course, in this game. Measure of support, of course, to you, the manager, and it actually decides your career length in the club. So if you have a lot of negativity, you will find player mutinies, and it's not going to guarantee you longevity in your tenure of your club. So that's the first step of the overview. So I'm going to go to the second tab, which is the hierarchy. The hierarchy is very interesting. It tells you who is the team leader and influencers in the club. So you can actually decide who is going to be your captain and vice captain in the preseason. So lucky for me, I've already got established players whom I already assign as captain and vice captain, which is my 2 central midfielders. And lucky for me, they are team leader and high influential players. So that's good. It gives you it goes to show that the leaders can actually hold the dressing room for you very well, for the managers. And it also tells you there are some other players, whether they have a balanced personality or are they influential players. But of course, you need to know that influential players are players who are already long established in the club, or they have a huge reputation previously. When they come to your club, and if they are popular figures, they are already influential players. So this is very good to actually translate to positive. Of course, it's a two-edged sword, where if you bring in negative players and they happen to be influential, you have a pressure cooker there. So whoever you're going to bring in makes a whole lot of difference for your team hierarchy. So do keep a look at it on the second tab. Third tab, social groups. This showing you the factions. Hopefully you don't have factions. Lucky for me, almost all my players except 2 players who are all fitted in the group. Most players are actually been in the club since last season. There are some new ones, of course. The other 2 players that don't gel in, for example, are my loan signings. They don't belong to the club, so naturally that's fine. But of course, hopefully as the season goes by, they will be fully integrated as a group to your team, because football is a team game. You have to fight as a group, so that's important. These social groups will tell you how integrated is your team members towards each other. So this is where you can see whether you can pick up potential troublemakers, of course, or players who tend to isolate themselves in certain instances that I've seen. And you do have to remember the fact that if you have isolated players, from what I've learned, is that you need to slowly integrate them into matches, so that they will have a better understanding with other teammates, and that is important. That is very, very important in your social groups, to eliminate any factions that will exist in your team. So go to happiness. Very comprehensive as compared to earlier editions of the game. Lucky for me, if you see the example, the sentiments to Oxford City and myself, of course, it's either delighted or satisfied. This is good. This is very positive. It means that I can focus more on the on-field performances. Now, you do see some concerns color-coded, like example Josh Ashby on the top. He is dissatisfied with the club. So when you actually move your mouse towards the dissatisfied link, it tells you he is dissatisfied with the situation at the club. So what happened was that he felt that being the star player of the team and performing very well for the club, he should be playing for a bigger club. And the danger is that should there be any approach in mid-season, despite the fact other clubs may pay me money for such a good player that I have, it may actually disrupt your playing rhythm. So mid-season is something that I hate, in particular, if I'm going to lose a particular any influential player. So this is an example where you can actually look into sentiments individually of your club. And concerned and dissatisfied player, concern can be addressed progressively with information, as I just covered. Happiness affects tactics. So I do remember the fact that each segment of whether morale, training, treatment, club management, playing time, and overall happiness, as long as you go through each link, they will tell you what exactly are they unhappy with. The best example will be the amount of playing time that they are given by you to play for the club. So most players just want to play. You have few players who will be satisfied to play bit part role of fringe players. So some of the players that I managed to sign are not really star players. They are okay with certain amount of playing expectations. So it's something that is manageable for my end. So that is happiness tab. Code of conduct. Okay, this is cast in stone during preseason. So what it does is that if you have any players who have discipline issue, whether it happened during a match or never actually turn up for training or etc., or they been picking up bookings consecutively during the performances, they can be fined, and this is actually agreed by all players in preseason. So if you do additional measures on top of this, there's a high chance that your players will not be happy with the way they are being treated. So do follow this SOP, of course, to prevent unnecessary unhappiness that may erupt if you do additional action. So last but not least, in the dynamics, team meeting. Team meeting is something that you should not actually request for team meeting all the time. It will actually erode the importance of team meeting. And usually I will arrange a team meeting in a critical part of the season. So last season I have a particular meeting where we keep on losing 3 to 4 matches, and there's a team meeting being held. The players are not happy and worried about the performances. So the choice of words are very critical to actually improve the morale, be it slight or be it immense. So choice of words, just like in real life. So choice of words are very important during meeting. And of course in pre-season, usually expectations. If you set too high of an expectation from what your team is expected to do, you may also get negative vibes from your players. So do bear in mind, choice of words is very critical during team meeting. Okay, so this is the part where I really enjoy in trying to initiate a team meeting. So my initiation is usually in pre-season, in mid-season of course. That's usually during Boxing Day or Christmas, and of course prior towards fighting for a promotion or a championship title is where I will actually hold team meetings. Other than that, it's not necessary. Just get on the trainings and etc. and of course the tactics. So that's about it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. I will try to improve in the next video, of course. And the next video I will actually showcase to you FA Trophy highlight, as well as of course Vanarama South League match days 21 to 30. So and of course I will feature another aspect of the game. In fact, I'm not going to tell you now, but I will choose something that may interest you in Football Manager. So guys, thank you for following me for this video. If you do like my channel, do subscribe. Do click the link below and hit the subscribe button. We'll need your support for this campaign. So during this tough period, please take care and peace out.